Welcome everybody to Pokemon GO Helsinki YouTube channel. Man, have we got a treat for you all today. We are about to dive straight into the deep end of PvP battle tactics. We will go through the entire Helsinki Twilight Cup through the perspective of the winner of the tournament, Picassu87. And the best part? I have Picassu himself here with me. Hi Picassu, it's good to have you on board.
Hello, thanks for inviting me.
We will first be presenting Picassu's winning team and then proceed into the tournament, where we will be analyzing and commentating each and every match. This is gonna be a long and intense video, so take a nice comfortable position, get the right battle mindset turned on and enjoy. Picassu, are you ready to guide us through your journey?
Absolutely.
Alright, let's get started with Picassu's team. First up, we've got a real tournament favorite for Twilight Cup, Toxicroak.
Right, so when I first saw the four types of the Twilight Cup, I immediately thought that, okay, Toxicroak is probably going to be really important. And why is that? I think it's the only counter user, and counter happens to be the best fast move in the game. And it also has Mud Bomb, which is a really fast charge move, which you need to counter poisons. And then it also has Sludge Bomb, which is really a good move and works nicely against fairies, especially Azumarill. It's pretty much the best counter against poison dogs, which are very dangerous if you let them run wild. So basically Toxicroak is the most meta-defining Pokemon in Twilight. So you almost have to have it in your 6, although not necessarily in your 3, as we're going to see.
Then we've got another real fan favorite, Azumarill. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, well, Azumarill has really good stats. It's also one of the best Pokemon in the general Great League, and it has really good moves. Bubble has great energy generation, and Ice Beam is a good move. Layer Off is a good move. You probably don't want to use Hydro Pump, at least not in this cup. At first it actually seemed like I might not want to use Azumarill because there are so many poison types that counter it so well, but in the end it's just too good to not use.
Then another very dangerous beast from the Great League, the Community Day Venusaur with Frenzy Plant. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so Venusaur's main role is to counter Azumarill. That's why I added it to my team. It was actually the last addition. I used to have Tentacruel, but somehow Tentacruel is too slow for my liking, and I wanted something faster, and Frenzy Plant is fast. So I'm very happy with this addition to the team. I used it in a lot of games.
Then you chose this adorable creature that is Frostlass, and it indeed did some magic for you, as all you will see once we reach the actual battle footage. But what were you thinking when picking up Frostlass for your team?
Yeah, Frostlass has really fast and powerful moves. Avalanche and Shadow Ball are some of the best moves in the game. So it works really well as a lead and a shield breaker, but it also works as a closer when the shields are down. And an additional thing is also another counter to Toxicroak.
Check out this beautiful little butterfly. It looks so cute and cuddly, but it's actually quite a deadly killer, especially with the Legacy Poison Fang, of which I'm quite jealous for you, to be honest. What do you think about this beautiful Venomoth?
Yeah, so Venomoth is the best counter to Toxicroak. It kills it in 4 confusions, and it's also really good against non-dark poisons like Venusaur and Quillfish, for example. It does fine against Azumarill with the Legacy Poison Fang. It doesn't really have any super hard counters, so it's basically a relatively safe switch-in. So I would say it's basically the MVP of the team. I think I use it pretty much every match.
To finish off your team, we've got yet another Community Day specialist, Tyranitar with the move Smackdown.
Right, Tyranitar is, I think, my most common lead. It forms the core with Venomoth. They basically cover each other's weaknesses very well. At first glance it seems that Tyranitar is too frail for Great League. It has too high of an attack stat, but it has great moves and it also gains some pseudo bulk from resistances to Poison, Ghost and Dark, which are 3 of the 4 types of the Twilight Cup. And in addition also resists Flying, Normal, Psychic and Fire, so it helps with the low bulk.
When looking at your chosen team of 6 Pokemon, I can't help but notice that you don't have any of the dark poison combinations which were very popular in this tournament. Skuntank, Alolan Muck, Drapion. How come you came up with this conclusion?
Yeah, that's right. Especially Skuntank was very popular, and it's part of the so-called Core 4 with Toxin, Toxic Counter and Azumarill. I don't know, I prefer to counter Azumarill with Venusaur, and I didn't really have a place for any of those 3 in my team.
And that didn't turn out that badly for you, as we will see. So what was your kind of main strategy, main master plan behind this 6?
So my main core was the Tyranitar Moth, which I used in nearly every game, I think. Then, depending on the opposing 6, I added usually either Azumarill or Venusaur. In fact, Toxicroak didn't come out even once. It was there just as a scare. And I think Frostlass was used only in the finals, but well, it did pretty well there, so happy to have it in the team. The idea of leading Tyranitar was to counter Skuntank and Frostlass mainly, which were quite common leads. It also handled other darks and toxic counters nicely. And Venomoth was a relatively safe switch in case of an opposing Toxicroak or Azumarill.
Starting with Tyranitar is also a great way to lure Toxicroak in for Venomoth to eat through.
That's right, that's right.
Let's get into business then. It's time to head for the PvP battles, and your first opponent was RealDogemon. Here are your teams, and when I take a look at RealDogemon's lineup, I can't help but think that he has many Pokemon that are very potential starters. So basically all but Dustox would be good leads. So at this point I'm thinking that I would probably go with either Toxicroak or Tyranitar, or then try to maybe anticipate Quillfish with Venusaur. But what are your thoughts on RealDogemon's lineup? How do you approach it?
Yeah, actually that's pretty good analysis. The first thing I always did when I looked at the opponent's team was to see how good would my Tyranitar do. And now if you look at this RealDogemon's team, Tyranitar beats Alolan Raticate, beats Dustox, Frostlass and also Skuntank, so 4 of the 6 is beaten by Tyranitar. So obviously I'm gonna bring it, but do I want to bring it as a lead? Well, as you said, I might want to anticipate Quillfish, which I think almost every time somebody has a Quillfish in the team, they want to lead it. It's really good as a lead. So that's why I actually let Venusaur. And then Tyranitar needs bodyguard. That's obviously Venomoth.
Let's head into the match and see how it turns out. So he leads with Quillfish, right as you anticipated.
Right, so I was right, luckily.
It's looking good for you at this point. Frostlass, so it's definitely a switch out.
Mm-hmm. And then I immediately switch in Tyranitar, which is a really good counter to Frostlass.
Yeah, this is gonna be just a massacre.
Right, but I have to shield the Avalanche, which does quite a bit of damage. And he also gets out another Avalanche, which I decided not to shield because I was pretty sure it wouldn't kill and I wanted to save the shield.
Yeah, I think that was good. You will also get the crunch off immediately to the next one. It's a Toxicroak, so you wouldn't have needed your Tyranitar anymore.
Exactly,
Anyways.
exactly.
Then I guess this is an easy choice for
you.
And see how Venomoth does against Toxicroak.
Oh yeah, that's a bloodbath. And he couldn't even switch out because it was
had already switched in.
Yeah.
Now you have a charge move ready to go.
And as a bonus, I did not need this, but why not?
Makes it even more harder for the opponent for the next match. You get this mental advantage. So you lead 1-0 and you got the starter correctly, which pretty much dictated the rest of the match. So what are your thoughts on this point?
Right, so I think I played pretty well. I probably could have switched in Tyranitar a bit faster, but it was solid. So I was happy with the team I chose, but then I decided to do some mind games and led with Tyranitar instead of Venusaur, and it kind of paid off.
Yeah, so what are you expecting with Tyranitar? What do you expect Dogemon to start with?
Well, Dogemon has 4 out of 6 that are Tyranitar counters, so it's quite likely that my guess is correct. So I guess I was expecting Skuntank or Frostlass.
Let's see the second match then.
Yeah. This is a good matchup for me. So he has to switch out, but then he switches in Frostlass, which is kind of weird. It's not really that good against Tyranitar, as you can see. Well, then something weird happened there. I think I tried to switch out Tyranitar, but it didn't let me. So then I just decided to go on. And well, I burned his shields. Now here I made a really big mistake. I sent in Venomoth, which is a good counter to Quillfish, but Venusaur is just so much better. And as you can see, Aqua Tail does quite a lot of damage, and I really needed to have Venomoth for Dustox. And now I'm kind of in trouble with Venusaur against Dustox. This is really, really not good.
So let's see how much damage your Venusaur can do to that Dustox.
Yeah, I think it gets pretty close. I still have 1 shield, but it's just not enough. Right, so it was close,
yeah.
But I basically lost that match to the bug where that it didn't let me switch, and then well, even after that I could have won easily if I just put in Venusaur against Quillfish.
Yeah, it was a bizarre match with RealDogemon's things as well, since he put in the Frostlass against your Tyranitar instead of Quillfish.
That's right, that's right.
Bizarre match, but ended up narrowly in RealDogemon's favor. So it's tied 1-1, and we have the tiebreaker approaching. What are you thinking for the last match? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm thinking I really should have won that match, and I don't think I need to change anything. So I just go in with the same team, lead with Tyranitar, and hope for the best.
Let's see this Skuntank.
Yeah, Skuntank is good. Yeah. So against Skuntank, Tyranitar can basically just use the fast move and build up some energy. Well, I decide to use Crunch. He's probably going to burn shield, yeah. I'm not sure if he should have shielded there, but he did. And I'm not going to shield when there is so little HP, so there's no point.
Now he gets to be the one to choose his
This
Pokemon after you.
This is true, but I have shield advantage now.
So let's see what he has against your Venomoth.
Right, he sends in Alola and Raticate, which is not too bad for me. I mean, Venusaur does neutral damage, and Frenzy Plant is just so good.
It's amazing how much that Frenzy Plant does. There goes to Raticate.
Right.
So maybe an interesting choice.
Yeah, I don't know,
last.
maybe he didn't have anything better.
Yeah, I mean for the last match he basically changed almost his whole
That's true.
lineup.
That's true. Maybe he tried to do some clever tactics. But yeah, I mean this is basically over when there's Venusaur against Quillfish and no shields.
And you just finish it up with Venomoth.
Yeah.
That's opponent 1. You got it 2-1 wins in the first round.
Yeah, should have been 2-0, but we take that. RealDogemon was actually the only one I lost in the Boulder Cup, so it was nice to get the revenge on round 1.
Your opponent for round 2 was Therieco, and here you can see Therieco's team. And my thoughts on this team is that once again Tyranitar is strong against many of those, especially Frostlass, Venomoth and Golbat. But then along with Toxicroak I would also bring Azumarill, which is just a super good Pokemon in general and takes care of pretty much any of those except Skuntank. And then maybe Venomoth for that Toxicroak would be my third choice. But what about you?
Right, so again, like I said, 4 out of 6 are countered by Tyranitar, and I do bring it as a lead this time. And then with Tyranitar I always want to bring Venomoth to counter the Toxicroak. And then for the third pick I decided to go with Azumarill. I could have also picked Venusaur to counter the Azumarill, but I was a bit scared of the Golbat and the Venomoth there, so I decided to counter Azumarill with my own Azumarill instead.
Yeah, so basically the team I would have picked as well.
Exactly.
Excellent, I'm getting good at this. Here we go, round 1 with Therieco.
Right, so again, good matchup for Tyranitar, and he decides not to switch immediately, but does now. And again, some weird bug. I don't know what's going on there, but well, it happens. Well, finally I get to switch out.
Before that charge move, which was pretty good. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, it
was good timing there. Now this is just Azumarill. Kind of boring.
Yeah, at least not as boring as Skarmory is.
That's true. Yeah. I don't think it's a good idea to shield in Azumirill's.
But this one you have to. No, you're gonna take the hit.
No, I knew it's gonna be Ice Beam. It was too fast to be play rough.
Oh, that's nice.
And then I get my own Ice Beam to kill.
Then a Frostless.
Right, so of course not shielding this.
And you still have some health left on the Therasol.
Yeah. Well, now I'm obviously shielding so I can finish Frostlass off.
See what the last one is gonna be.
Okay, well, it's over now.
Let's see how fast this one goes. 1, 2, 3, 4 smackdowns.
Yeah, well, shield. And then here we go.
And you still had one Pokemon left.
That's right.
So quite a solid performance at the first match.
Yeah, I think the opponent should have switched way faster.
Do you think it would have had any difference on the outcome? Probably not.
I don't think so. I mean, he also had Venomoth, which is also bad against Tyranitar. And I think my team was just a bit too good against his team.
So now, nearing the second match, what are your thoughts? Are you gonna make any changes, or how do you approach the second leg?
Well, I'm thinking if it ain't broke, then why fix it? So, going in it with the same team.
And in the same order.
Yeah, in the same order as well.
Let's see what happens. Tyranitar and Therieco starts with Skuntank once again. Good matchup for you.
Yeah, this is not bad at all.
So you can tank the hits, whatever charge move it has.
Pretty much, yeah. They're all not very effective. And now I can just farm some energy And yeah, I didn't even use any charge move there.
So you have 2 ready to go.
Yeah,
But
except I should have pre-selected the move.
yeah,
I should have known that he brings Toxic Rogue and kills my Tyranitar, so I wasted all this energy. But it ends up not mattering anyway. Because, well, I get a little bit lucky there again.
yeah, but the champions also need luck sometimes.
That's right, yeah, I guess.
And then Toxic Rogue.
Yeah, I mean Toxic Rogue stands no chance.
So that was pretty quick. That was over pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Your third opponent is Palanderi, and here I get quite bedazzled with his team. There's Mr. Mime and there's Tentacruel, so new surprising monsters coming in for this round.
Mm-hmm.
And my thoughts on this team is that I would definitely bring in Toxic Rogue, which is one of my favorites, and then I guess Azumarill should be quite safe and versatile. Maybe a bit scared of that Tentacruel. And then maybe I don't know, Tyranitar is good against many of those, so maybe that one as well. But what do you do? What do you end up doing?
Right, so again, I'm seeing what can my Tyranitar do here. Well, it beats Frostlass and Skuntank as we've seen before, and it's also good against Mr. Mime, which is kind of a wildcard pick. So I do lead with Tyranitar, and well, again, it needs Venomoth as his partner. But then for my third pick, I'm a little bit worried about his Tyranitar, and well, obviously Toxic Rogue would be okay, but he has 2 toxic counters, Mr. Mime and Frostlass. So instead of Toxic Rogue, I decide to counter his Tyranitar with my Azumarill, which is also good against Mr. Mime.
So the first round against Palanderi. Here we go. He leads with Frostlass.
So again, good matchup. It seems like a lot of people don't really expect Tyranitar as the lead. Then he switches in Skuntank, which is also not that great. So I decide not to shield there. And well, okay, now I have to shield because I have so much energy saved. That is worth it. And he brings in Frostlass again.
Which is an interesting move. Let's see what's the last one.
Mean, I have 2 crunchies ready to go, with basically both of them would kill. So he has to burn his shields, and I still get some nice damage with Smackdown.
Indeed. And then you bring in Azumarill,
which is a really good Pokemon against Frostlass also, so it's looking pretty good.
Although Shadow Ball did quite well.
Yeah, it does, but as you can take it.
This one you're gonna shield.
Yeah, I actually thought it would be another Shadow Ball, so it kind of mind game there.
You need to play it safe at that point.
Yeah.
Mr. Mime, so let's see how much this Ice Beam does to it.
It should be pretty good, yeah. But Mr. Mime is a scary Pokemon. I mean, I did not expect it to do this well. Because now I have Venomoth, which is dying really fast, and I was really scared there. But it took it home, at least in this game.
Yeah, actually quite an interesting matchup with the choices he made against Tyranitar, leading with Frostlass and then changing it into Skuntank, which isn't that great against Tyranitar, and then bringing in Frostlass again, which, okay, maybe if he had Mr. Mime as the third, it's basically only bad choices against
Yeah, that's
Tyranitar.
true. He actually, all of his 3 were bad against Tyranitar. But T-Tar can only do so much, so it still got pretty close.
So once again it was a tight, interesting match. Now you lead 1-0 and heading into the second leg. What are your thoughts on this? What are you going to do or change in your team?
Well, I'm pretty happy with my team, but again, I can't be too predictable, so I decide to change the lead to Azumarill.
Here we see, you got a Tyranitar.
Yeah, so that was a good switch. It's a good matchup for Azumarill.
You just have to be a bit wary of the Stone Edge, but otherwise
that's right. That's right, but I have shields. Interestingly, he takes a while to switch, and also that's kind of a weird switch because Azumarill does have the upper hand against Frostless also.
Yeah, definitely. The fast attacks do nothing to water, and Avalanche also is a nice move that isn't good against.
So now I get the free switch to Tyranitar, which is, as we've seen, is pretty good against Frostless, but I probably should have shielded that Avalanche actually.
Yeah, it did surprisingly a lot of damage.
That is definitely a mistake. I did not mean to shield that at all.
Luckily you have Azumarill to finish off that.
Right.
Now let's see what the last one is. Is it gonna be Mr. Mime again?
It's Mr. Mime again, and it spells trouble. I mean, even with that play rough and a few bubbles in. Oh, I think I should have done 2 ice beams instead of that play rough. Yeah, I think that would have been enough.
Shadow Ball.
But now, yeah, it almost is enough, and then confusion is so powerful that it ends up being a tie.
Interesting.
Yeah, that I should have won that match for sure.
But it's so fast, you have to make the decisions in nanoseconds.
Exactly. But I'm not exactly sure why I shielded that. I think it was just a misclick. I was spamming the phone and it happens.
But thanks to that, we get to see one more interesting match against Palanderi.
In fact, 2.
Nice. So, next match. What are your thoughts? Are you going to make any changes after that tie?
Well, I'm thinking I should have won that match, so I don't really see a reason to change anything. And turns out that he reads that and leads with his scary Tentacruel, which is kind of
ballsy thing to do.
Yeah.
So here are Azumarill and Tentacruel.
Yeah, this is a really bad matchup for Azumarill, so I have to switch out immediately. But then he has Frostless for Venomoth, and that's not good. Avalanche does so much damage that I have to shield, and it's so fast that he gets 2 avalanches pretty fast. I think he gets another one here. So I've wasted both of my shields, and I know he has Tentacruel, so that's really bad for me.
Yeah, that's true. So basically you would have needed that Venomoth against that Tentacruel.
Exactly. That's why I decided to shield, but I don't know. Maybe I should have saved at least one shield.
Yeah, and finish that off with Tyranitar. Let Venomoth die and
that could have been the better play.
Then we have a Tyranitar mirror match.
So at this point I think there's not much to do.
We will get the charge move. Charged up.
Yeah, well now I have Azumarill, and even though Tentacruel is at half HP, it doesn't matter because he only needs 1 charge move, and there we go, that's it.
So here we see once again how much the leading Pokemon can affect the outcome.
Exactly, it's very important. So far I've been lucky, but now this one game turns out really badly when I have a bad lead.
Now nearing the decisive 3rd match or 4th match in this case. What are you going to change in your team for the last final battle against Palanderi?
So I'm a bit worried about that Tentacruel that kind of beat me bad previous match. So instead of Azumarill I take Venusaur this time, and I also decide to lead with that. And then the other 2 are the same, Tyranitar and Venomoth.
Now let's see how the decisive battle turns out. Here's your Venusaur and he starts with Toxicroak. What do you think?
Right, so I think this is a pretty even matchup, so neither of us really wants to switch out. Frenzy Plant would do a lot of damage, so he has to shield.
Then are you expecting Sludge Bomb or Mud Bomb?
Mud Bomb, because it's so fast it has to be Mud Bomb.
Yeah.
But I decided not to shield.
How come you came up with that?
Well, it doesn't do that much damage.
But now you just
now I have to, because I have a French band ready to go, so I want to get that out before going out.
Then I'm guessing you're bringing in Venomot to finish it off.
For sure. So now I'm up 1 shield. And Toxicroak is going down pretty fast. Does he get to switch out? He does not. And now I really should have kept my Venomoth, because he has no shields, and 1 Silver Beam is going to like basically one-shot Tyranitar. So that was a bad switch. But now something happened there. I think he got the switch bug that prevented him from using the charge move. He didn't say anything during the match, so there's not really much that can be done.
Oh, you got your Tyranitar off the picture, but...
Right, but now I have Venomoth here, which is good for this matchup.
Confusion does a lot of damage.
It does, and I also have 1 shield. So even if he didn't get that bug, I think I would have won this, because this is such a good matchup for Venomoth. Confusion is so powerful.
But it was insanely tough matchup.
For sure, I think this was one of the hardest opponents in the tournament for me.
Moving on to opponent number 4, which is gonna be Henksuli, and as you're still undefeated, the opponents will just get better and better. So Henksuli, he's kind of a pro battler. We both know him from other tournaments as well, and he has some outside bets here as well. Gardevoir comes in for the first time this tournament, and also Haunter is quite a surprising choice. Haven't seen that one before, so I'm kind of puzzled what to do here, but I would myself go with at least Tyranitar definitely in there. Then I would also bring in Toxicroak to take care of Skuntank and Raticate, and it also does well against the other Toxicroak, and probably Haunter as well if it gets those Mud Bombs off. And then maybe Azumarill would be a safe choice for the third one. But what is your opinion and approach on Henksuli's team?
Right, well, Haunter is a really interesting pick. It's the secret weapon from the PvP Discord. I really didn't see it talk too much outside of that place. At first you think that, well, Haunter has a ridiculously high attack stat, so how can it be good in Great League? But it turns out it's actually quite good. It beats a lot of the meta picks like Toxicroak and Azumarill, Venusaur. So how does it do that? Well, it has Shadow Claw, which charges energy really fast, and Shadow Punch, which is a really fast move and does a ton of damage with the high attack stat. And then, a bit like Tyranitar, you have kind of pseudo bulk with the resistances. So you have Ghost and Poison, which triple resist fighting and double resist poison, and then you also have a ton of other resistances to help with the lack of bulk. So it's a really high risk, high reward kind of Pokemon. You have to be really quick to switch out when you have a bad matchup. So you have to take it seriously. It can really catch people by surprise if they're not prepared.
Man, I really gotta get into this Discord PvP.
Yeah, shit.
To learn this art of PvP, all the hidden secrets.
Right.
So, how are you approaching Henksuli?
Okay, so,
choices?
Well, again, let's see what Tyranitar does. First of all, it's very good against Haunter, so I don't really have to worry about that. And it also beats Alolan Raticate, Skuntank, and then Henksuli has this also a little bit wildcard pick, Gardevoir. It's kind of similar to Mr. Mime that we saw previously. What's good about Gardevoir and Mr. Mime, they basically do the same as Venomoth. They beat Toxicroak really bad, but then they also beat Venomoth. So they are definitely interesting. The biggest problem with them is that they're weak to poison with their fairy typing, and also they lack some bulk. But I have to be careful with Gardevoir, but I do have Tyranitar, which is really good against Gardevoir. So again, there is 4 out of 6 that my Tyranitar beats. So I'm bringing that.
And then I guess Venomoth.
Yes,
to pair it.
Every time. Venomoth is also really good against Haunter, so that's a bonus. And then for the third pick, well, he has Azumarill, so I decide to take Venusaur to counter that.
So you're expecting him to bring in Azumarill?
Well, I have to be prepared for it at least. Venusaur also does quite nicely against the others.
So here we go. You're leading with Tyranitar, and Haunter it is.
Yes, this is good for me. As you can see, even if it's doing not very effective damage, it's quite a lot. But I don't have to shield that anyway. Yeah, neutral damage to Haunter is just way too much.
And here you have a charge move ready, and he's not expecting Stone Edge, or at least doesn't shield it.
Well, my Tyranitar has done enough, so I decide to not shield and just let it go.
And there's the Ice Beam coming up.
Yeah, this one I have to shield.
Then Frenzy Plant.
But I think he shields. Yeah, he shields this, so
he
that he gets another Ice Beam, which I also have to shield. It's just a powerful move.
Then the last one, is it gonna be Gardevoir?
It's not, it's Eradicate. This is pretty good for me. I have energy left from the previous Pokemon, and
that Frenzy Plant just charges up so fast.
It does, and it does so much damage that it's... Wow, that was lucky.
Yeah, that crunched it surprisingly well as well, but you just have to finish it off.
Yeah.
For which Venomoth isn't the best thing to...
No, it's not, but I just need one Poison Fang, which is pretty fast to charge up.
And there it goes, and that's it for match number 1.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this? You got the starter right.
Yeah, that's right. It's so important to have a good lead matchup, so I don't have to switch. I'm pretty happy. Didn't really do any bad mistakes there, so I'm confident moving on to the next game.
And that Alolan Eradicate, as the last one, was maybe a bit of a surprise, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he should have probably taken the Gardevoir there, actually. Might have won the game.
Yeah, it would have done a lot of damage to both Venusaur and Venomoth.
Exactly.
So, coming into match number 2, what are your thoughts?
Well, like I said before, if it ain't broke, why fix it? So I think I'm staying with the same team and the same lead.
Are you expecting anything different from Henksuli? Anticipating some changes?
Well, probably not gonna lead Haunter this time at least. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. And there we have the Toxicroak.
Oh boy, that's
You
bad.
gotta get out.
Yeah.
You gotta get out fast.
ASAP.
Now you will do at least a little damage. He was quick to switch.
Yeah, he was pretty good, yeah. But still took half HP.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best you can do. If you
this is the power of Legacy Venomoth. I don't think Henksuli really expected my Venomoth to have Poison Fang. So he didn't shield the first one. He does shield the second.
There's a third one coming up.
It's really fast to charge up.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful creature, that Venomoth.
Oh yes.
Wish I had one.
So, something that usually doesn't happen, Venomoth beats Azumarill.
Then it's time for Silver Wind, which actually has to block.
No boost this time. But now it's looking pretty good. I have Tyranitar for...
With full health.
Yeah, and I knew that he was gonna bring Toxicroak, so I was immediately switching out.
Now for everybody watching, that's like the pro players do it.
Yeah, you have to be like out there before you see what's coming. You know that they're switching, then you switch too. Looks like the rest of the match is pretty straightforward. I have the advantage.
It's planned.
Does so much damage.
Bad. You have so good beasts out there.
Yeah, pretty happy with the team.
Yeah, so that was 2-0 against Henksuli, which I gotta say it's well done. He's really good player. I have had a few matches with him and lost them both. So
yeah, he did win another Twilight Cup after this one, so he's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. So we are nearing the last round. After 4 consecutive wins, it's time for the final match against Heinzh. And the stakes are clear. The winner of this match will win the entire tournament. So it's real tough place to be, and the pressure is huge for both players. This is Heinz's team, and for me, clear standout there is the Grimer. A bit of a surprise, not seeing that one before, but it has the Mud Bomb as well. So it's usable for the ground typing attacks and good for the poison types. So interesting pick. Maybe alongside Toxic Rogue to have 2 Pokemon that have Mud Bomb is a bit overkill, but who knows? Who knows? He made it all the way to the final, so
exactly.
He didn't play bad. Yeah, and then there's the smaller brother of Venusaur, the Ivysaur, which is also good, but doesn't have access to Frenzy Plant.
It doesn't, but I was actually quite scared of Ivysaur. It has Razor Leaf, which does so much damage. Actually, funny story, Heinz is one of my practice partners, and he didn't have Ivysaur in his team until I think the same morning. We didn't really get to practice together with that, so I wasn't sure if he's gonna bring it and if it's gonna work that well. But it turns out he didn't, after all, use it at all in this final matchup.
So what are your thoughts on Heinz's team? How will you compose your lineup?
I had to think about this for quite a bit. Tyranitar beats, I think, 3 of them, at least 2, pretty solidly. But then both Ivysaur and Azumarill with, of course, Toxic Rogue, they all counter him pretty well. However, I still decided to lead with Tyranitar. I guess I was expecting Heinz to go with Skuntank. He often does that. And then with Tyranitar again, Venomoth. And for the third, so basically again I have choice between Venusaur and Azumarill. Now if I look at his team, he has Ivysaur and Azumarill, so Venusaur does a lot better against those 2 than Azumarill. So I decided to go with Venusaur here.
Nice, let's see what happens. So you got the Skuntank right?
Yeah, exactly. Good. So no need to switch here. Also, I don't think he should have switched. It's not the best matchup, but it's not that bad. I decided to use Crunch here. I might have done better without using it. I don't know.
But you at least burned the shield.
That's true, but so did he. But I win the matchup anyway, so I get 1 more Crunch out and I get the switch advantage. And he doesn't shield, which does a lot of damage to Grimer.
And Venomoth
destroys, absolutely destroys Grimer. However, this is not so clear still, because my last pick is Venusaur, which is so bad against Venomoth that even though Venomoth has half HP,
and you have 1 shield.
I have 1 shield, yeah, but it turns out that this is such a nail biter.
Let's see how much that Sludge Bomb does.
So close, but no Seeker. And I lose.
And Venomoth got left with like 1 HP.
Something like that, yeah.
So it's just a few less CP for that Venomoth, and it might have been the other way around.
Exactly.
But it's close at this level.
Alright, so I don't see too many mistakes. So what I have to do then is to switch up with the team composition. And for the first time in the tournament I decided that I'm gonna take my Frostlass out. It should do pretty well against a lot of Heinz's Pokemon.
And you're gonna team it up with your favorite duo, Tyranitar and Venomot or something different?
Well, actually, I decided to leave Tyranitar on the bench. It doesn't do so well against, like I said, it does fine against 2, maybe 3. But I think Frostlass has better synergy with Venomoth and Venusaur that I chose for this game. So Frostlass beats Venomoth, Skuntank, depending on shields, also Ivysaur. Then Venomoth can handle Ivysaur and Grimer, and of course Toxicroak. And then Venusaur I have for the Azumarill.
Yeah, I gotta say it's quite a courageous move at this point to bring in Frostlass, which has been sitting idle on the bench throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, you have to do something when you lose the first game without really knowing why.
But basically, you have had a solid team composition throughout the tournament. I mean, I raise my hat for this decision, and soon we will see how that affected the outcome of the second match. Here we go with Frostlass, and it's facing Skuntank. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is good for me. Powder Snow is so fast to charge up these avalanches that with both shielding twice, I'm going to end up winning this with like nearly half HP, as we're gonna see.
That is good. So, were you expecting Skuntank as one of the leads, I guess?
Yeah, well, like I said, Heinzh likes to lead with that, and he did also in the first game. It's a good lead, but Frostlass is better, at least in this case.
Here comes Grimer.
So here you see the power. You still get another avalanche out, and wow. Okay, that's so bad.
It almost took care of Grimer.
Yeah, so that was basically 1v2.
Venomot as the person tasked to finish it off.
Oh yes, and then he only has one left, and it's a mirror, so...
No shields. So
well, that was unnecessary. Well, this is bad for Venusaur, but luckily it wasn't too much HP left, so no problem there.
So it's tied 1-1, and we are nearing the match that will decide this entire Helsinki Twilight Cup. So what is going on in your mind?
Well, I'm happy with Frostlass, obviously. It did really well in the previous game, so I'm keeping that in. And I think I actually kept all 3 the same, just to get it over with.
And leading with Frostlass.
Yes.
Let's see what Heinzh has to say about that.
For some reason I actually failed to record this final game, so this is from Heinz's perspective.
And here we go. Heinzh starts with Skuntank. And
again,
you have that Frostlass. Yeah, you knew he likes that Skuntank of his.
Well, I don't know. Probably should have switched that for the third game. And at least he definitely should have switched when he saw that he can't really beat Frostlass.
Yeah, but the switching first is so risky.
Yeah, it is. But I think he should have at least tried something, because as we saw in game 2, it was really bad not to switch. And then basically my Frostlass took out 2 Pokemon from him.
Let's see
what
he brings in this time.
It basically goes exactly like in the first game. I get another avalanche. So 1 versus 2 once again. And then
yeah, we already saw what Heinzh has left.
This is not good for him. I don't know. Maybe it's nerves or something. He didn't. He probably should have tried something completely different, like bring Ivysaur or something to throw me off.
Yeah, maybe. But that was the last game of the tournament, and it was over so quickly.
Exactly.
So that concludes the Twilight Cup of Helsinki. So once again, congratulations, Picassu.
Thank you.
You are the undefeated champion this time. I must say I've been battling with these guys as well, so I can say it's definitely not an easy thing to accomplish. So what do you think was the key to your victory? What did you have your competitors didn't?
Well, first of all, I definitely prepared for this cup way better than for the Boulder Cup. So that's obviously one important thing, that you have to practice these matchups, not just theory craft. You have to actually get your hands in the mud. And
do you have an estimation how many battles did you have before the actual tournament?
It's really hard to say, but probably some
tens or hundred or
dozens.
Yeah.
I guess Tyranitar and Venomoth combo is really strong. I don't think anyone else had that in the cup.
Especially with the legacy boss.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the main weapon I used.
So it's a powerful weapon, but you still also have to know how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And of course you always need some luck, especially with the lead matchups. They often decide the whole game.
So it's luck and also mind games,
exactly.
Anticipation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You did good this tournament.
And special shout out actually to the Pokemon PvP Discord. There's so much good information and so many good PvP battlers there, theory crafting and creating new meta, and also helping with people with their team compositions. So I definitely suggest everyone to go there.
Is it free to join?
Yeah, of course, anyone can go.
I mean, I'm gonna do it right after this video. I mean, like, be prepared to see a lot of Marstonlad.
Good.
in there. So the final question I have for you, Picassu, is what would you recommend to starting players who are thinking about getting involved in PvP, building their first teams, their first competitive teams, maybe participating in these Silph Arena Cups? So what would you suggest? What is the starting point? How would you start this team building for a new player for PvP?
So the good thing about this CP cap of Great League is that it basically allows you to use any Pokemon, really. So just try whatever you like and see how it does, and just have fun. That's the main point of the whole game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I'm kind of a casual player, although I'm very enthusiastic about PvP battling and also the mechanics and everything about it, all the details and strategies. But I have family and don't have much time to play, so I can gather up like 30 to 40,000 Stardust a week.
Right.
So that means I'm building my team on shoelaces budget for each of these cups, and I kind of take it like a personal challenge to do more with less. So I really have to think what I'm investing my Stardust in, and then I will have some fun outside picks, like I had my Tiena against you in the Munkkiniemi Twilight Cup and managed to surprise you quite a bit with the Play Rough and Firefang against Venomoth.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly right. You don't necessarily need millions of Stardust to have a competitive team. The important thing is that you build your own team and learn how to use it by battling a lot of different players.
And there are so many Pokemon that can find their usability in certain cases. Of course, some Pokemon are better than others, but most of them, there will be some at least rare use cases.
Yeah, there are always these so-called meta picks, but if you don't have them, then you somehow have to counter them. So in any case, I really encourage everyone to just battle with your friends and go to tournaments and have fun.
Yeah, you heard it, trainers. So get out there with your friends, start battling, and come challenge us at the Silph Arena tournaments. Right, Picassu?
That's right.
Next live tournament in Helsinki will be the Tempest Cup, where you'll be composing your team of electric, flying, ice, and ground type Pokemon. We had 24 participants in Vantaa Tempest Cup, which is a new record, so we at Pokemon GO Helsinki are hoping to break 30 in one of this year's tournaments. You can find the registration link to the tournament in the description below, and also an awesome map of all upcoming PvP tournaments around the world. We at Pokemon GO Helsinki hope to see many of you watchers join us for these PvP tournaments.